In this video, we're going to be discussing the HEMS Ascertainable standard for trustees. So what is that? HEMS is actually an acronym. It stands for Health, Education, Maintenance, and Support, and it is essentially providing a trustee of typically an irrevocable trust with some instructions on how it is supposed to make distributions and what are the types of things it is supposed to pay for. What is the trustee supposed to pay for using the trust assets on behalf of one or more trust beneficiaries? And the idea is sometimes the trustee has unfettered discretion. Sometimes we see sole and absolute discretion to pay for anything the trustee deems appropriate. And there are sometimes good reasons to have that sort of very lenient and broad discretion. And other times we want the trustee to have some restrictions. It helps protect the corpus of the trust. It prevents waste, right? When the trustee is giving guidance and they say, hey, we can't just spend this trust on anything that you want if it's going to be wasteful. We want to help maintain your standard of living. We want to pay for health, education, maintenance, and support. That's what HEMS stands for. Health, education, maintenance, and support. So the trustees say, I'm not going to pay for every little thing you need or want, but if you need help with your health issues, if you need a surgery or you need a copay or need to pay for health insurance premiums, or there's some therapy that may not be covered by your health insurance, we can cover that. Sometimes long-term care, it might be what a trustee is instructed to pay for. We have to be careful because in a Medicaid planning context, which is a lot of what I do, the HEMS standard for someone else's trust can actually be a problem. So that's the subject for another video. But otherwise, if you want a trust, there's plenty of money in it, and you want it to pay for somebody else's long-term care, perfectly acceptable under the H-Health portion of the HEMS Ascertainable standard. Education, right? You got kids who are going to college or private high schools or paying for study abroad programs and textbooks and tutoring, and having the trust pay for things like that, certainly no problem. Maintenance is going to be things like your mortgage payment, your rent, your insurance costs, right? You're maintaining your standard of living. And support is going to be things like paying for child care. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to link to an article that I wrote that kind of gives you a lot more examples as to what the HEMS standard means and what are the kind of typical things it can pay for. But it can even pay for typical vacations. And the idea with the HEMS Ascertainable standard is not to take a beneficiary from one sort of style of living and give them a complete luxurious upgrade. The idea is to maintain them in the standard of living to which they're accustomed to. So it can pay for, if they typically take a vacation to Disney World, it can pay for that. It might be inappropriate for the trust to pay for a year-long cruise, luxury cruise in the Mediterranean, right? So the trust is, again, the trustee is being given standards. It's saying, here's what we are or we're not going to pay for. Now, HEMS is important also because it has tax implications by especially when you have the trustee who is also a beneficiary. It's a way to prevent the beneficiary from the assets in an irrevocable trust being included in their estate for income tax and estate tax purposes. And it also can help provide some creditor protection as well, which is really nice because essentially when you limit what the trustee can pay for, it gives you more evidence to show that if there's a creditor of the beneficiary, the trustee goes, well, let me look at this trust here. This trust is giving me instructions on what I can and can't pay for, and it looks like, so sorry, I'm not allowed to pay for creditors. Whereas if the trustee has the ability to pay for anything and everything without credit shelter language, or spendthrift trust language, and if there's no HEMS restrictions, then it's a lot more likely that the creditor would get a permission from a judge to say, hey, you're supposed to pay for anything and everything. I don't see any other restrictive language in this trust, so go ahead and pay for creditors as well. So HEMS is can be an advantage to the beneficiary as well as a restriction. So there's a lot more to it than that. Again, in this 5-minute or so long video, hard for me to get into all the nitty-gritty, but HEMS is an ascertainable standard providing trustee with guidance on how what they're supposed to pay for when it comes to dealing with a beneficiary of that same trust. Hope you found this helpful. If you're interested in anything related to estate planning, Medicaid planning, or probate throughout Florida, give us a call. If you like this video, share it, comment on it, thumbs up. Happy to provide you guys with good legal, make you guys a more educated legal consumer. Thank you for watching.